first to have the opportunity to talk tonight, and really you're the one who personally selected all of you guys to come, and so really it's him versus us as the studio that we have to thank for creating this great opportunity of reaching out to the fans. So we just wanted to say thanks to all of you guys for being supportive of the movie, and I'll let Mike take it away because he's the one who found and wanted to make sure he spoke to each and every one of you before the traditional press had sort of a chance at it. So we appreciate you guys being big fans of the franchise and looking forward to showing you the movie soon.
Thanks, well, yeah, I was excited because when we were talking on the internet side, I was like, I'm going to tell them all the ideas and why I did something, why I went this way, what deviated from the show, and we kept talking back and forth about it. She would just, should I have like, a whole section on the internet site and just talk it out, and she was like, so maybe we should do it in person, and then, that would be the first time to do it.
So do you want to say a couple words sort of about where the movie is at and where you're excited about, and then we'll let you guys ask questions as you want.
The state of the movie right now, where we're about 3 months from being done, and it's kind of the most frenetic part of the making of the movie is happening right now. Everything is coming in right now, all the music, all the effects. We're editing like around the clock. Everything that you kind of, in your mind for a year, you're kind of going, that'll be there one day, so let's skip over this part. Well, it's all coming in now, so you have to deal with everything right now. So it feels like, everything is suddenly accelerated for me in the movie, and we're planning to pick up some extra shots and some scenes, and that's being mixed in. We're going to score the movie at the end of the month. We're mixing the movie in San Francisco in May. I mean, all of the kind of new things for me as well. We're kind of doing, such a huge movie that I've been doing this juggling act in a way that used to in my life. It's exciting. I'm not sure my wife would agree, but it's been exciting.
First question I had was, if I were to guess, one of the most difficult parts for you to fit into the movie would be the comedy. Was that a challenge for you?
Yeah, I think it's the single thing I'm struggling with the movie. Partly because the show is so schizophrenic in the best way, right? In the best way. So, and it developed a tone as it went on in the series. So the opening episode of the movie is the youngest episode of the entire 61 episodes. It's so young, right? Mike and Brian started out making the show, and went for a particular tone, thinking it's Nickelodeon, right? And going a little bit against their instincts a little bit, going young. And then as the show went on, they just started being more and more themselves, and it got older and older and older, and it became cooler and edgier, and like everything landing and edgy, But in the beginning, he had lines like, "You want to go penguin sledding?" Like that. That was an appropriate line in 1, but would not be, let's say, in episode 27, would not be appropriate dialogue. That kind of its origins of as it was finding itself is the balancing act of the movie. I wanted to honor that part of it, because it would be like taking away my 7-year-old's why we're all here, because my 7-year-old connected with it, and I don't want to take that away. And I have a very dark and edgy sensibility, but I'm trying to balance the two. But the humor is definitely the trickiest part of the piece. I mean, even on Nickelodeon and even on that show, the comedy's broad at times, really broad at times. And then you have episodes like the Blue Spirit episode, I think it's 13 from the first season, which is just all edgy. Like straight edgy. Literally, I picked episode 13 and put it in the movie. Right? I just literally picked it up and put it in the movie. And so, but from like the first season, your first episode, you're really picking and choosing delicately how to maintain the thing. I mean, I've actually written the second draft of the second movie, and it's so much older. It's so much edgier and older. And that's what they're naturally having, because the kids are, 12, 14 at the beginning, and they just keep on growing and getting more mature, and it just naturally moves that way. And then you have all these kind of like, the cool ladies, they all fighting off, the Kyoshi Warriors versus Azula's crew in the second movie, and it just gets darker and edgier in the greatest way, and more Shakespearean for me as the seasons progress. And so yeah, that's been I like goofy humor, so I have a higher tolerance than most.
Itself and the different elements. Can you just talk a little bit more about that?
About the in what?
Just sort of how it's coming together with Island and how you envision it looking, in the movie.
Yeah.
It's so amazing when you see it in the trailer.
Yeah, I mean, it's about 2.5 years of R&D, research and development on it. We would look at anything that's ever been photographed or even on a motion picture camera, but even photographs of where I thought the feeling felt good. You know, for me, I've never seen fire that's looked good. I've never, you know, in movies, I just don't buy it. It looks like it's coming out of a blowtorch, and you know, it's very tricky stuff because I can photograph. And I have photographed fire, and it looks CGI. It's just very difficult to photograph fire and make it look real. Whatever it is, the capabilities of film or video, anything you can't capture that level of difference in light and different. It just looks fake to you. It looks like it's on the picture. And you go, wow, this looks really cheesy and fake, and you're like, no, that's literally fire. That's literally fire. There's nothing else there. So it's a very tricky thing. I thought of all the elements, you know, air would be the most difficult element to do. But in a way, we came to the realization that air has no inherent thing. It's just whatever environment you're in. So if it's in, you know, in your snow environment, it starts moving snow. If you're in a dirt environment, it starts moving dirt. And you have to keep it translucent enough that you know it's not the other element, but the element of air. And so it was a very careful analysis about each element, and then they would start to do tests for me and show me different things. And water, I really felt like I wanted it to be like when I saw some of the stuff from astronauts when they open up a Gatorade bottle and the water starts going like that, and it stays connected, but it's kind of moving, and they're around it, and they can touch it, and it goes and it's moving again. So that was the basis of water. So I found footage of that, and I said, that's what I want the water to look like. It's in like zero-G gravity beat. That's really, really cool. And so they went under those kind of principles, and Island has a huge amount of experience with water in particular, and I really like some of the stuff they did. I think it was the third Pirates that they did, that kind of the whirlwind of water as the boat's going down and things like this. They have a huge amount of experience. They were the first ones that did started this stuff with Perfect Storm and started working on it. So it's just a real long process, but super, super exciting. And then each and every time, you know, there had to be a combination of what the character was doing, and I didn't want at any time anything to look the same. So it wasn't like you could do water bending twice and make it look the same. And that was the thing, I think, that when the burden of what we were doing went to such a high level, you know, they would come up with one great effect that was like, great, now come up with 80 more, because there's so much, that nobody does it the same way. And that was the fun thing for me, is I got to express character through CGI, and then I could really talk to the animators and say, this is not, Katara isn't skilled yet, and so she's very, so it should be very, very, you know, fragmentary and things falling off the edges, and you can talk in character like that, or this person's angry, or this person is, you know, and then talking about physics, about I just don't believe moving from A to B that it can move that fast, and all of those wonderful conversations that we've had for 2 years now. And so luckily, yeah, my big fear was that whatever I had, because this is my first CGI movie, that whatever was in my head would look at the end of the day cheesy. That, you know, after I've guided all these amazing people for 2 years, we look at it and go, and luckily that hasn't been the case. I've been so excited about what we've seen, and just, again, I love going to watch the new footage every day, so that's really exciting. Finally I get this. I think in the movie there, if you count like every little thing, like they have to put a background in, like in the corner of the frame, like there's a little bit of set you see. If you count every single shot like that, I think there's like 400 some CGI shots, which for a movie of this scale is very, very little. I think to give you an example, another major temple would have 2,000 shots in it, and that's also because I have very long shots. So, you know, like the Paku shot, you just stay with the Paku shot, and of course Island hates that, right? Because you're just staring at the CGI for so long, and they're like, well, you see you cutting for distraction. I'm like, not on this one. We're going to have to make it look real good as you're just staring at it blankly.
Film with huge stars like Bruce Willis, Mel Gibson, Samuel Jackson, and now you have a young but untalented cast, and Dev Patel is maybe the biggest name. So do you have any concerns at the box office for this reason that you don't have a really big name?
You know, I don't, because the subject is the star, you know, and in a way, having the transparency of being able to look past the characters and see the story is the best version of this kind of movie. I mean, in a way, conversation with Paramount, as Amy remembers, where I was like, let's not show these kids at all till opening day, so that everybody thinks that they're the real characters, you know. And they were like, well, everybody knows Dev, but I was like, okay, nobody else, nobody sees any of these kids. Let's just make them in their minds they think they're these characters. And so, no, that hasn't worried me, because you have opposite issues as well. Once you have the stars in parts, it starts to just tip in a way that you want to suspend disbelief, in a movie like this, and just kind of go, I live in that world, and I've only lived in that world for those 2 hours, and I can't wait to go back.